I was the first one to make a content in Latvian about I want to kill myself, but that's okay. When I went through my YouTube, all the titles are a bit insane. Like, my boyfriend cheated on me with 5 different women. Yes, I was doing those titles.
Ciao, Baltic babes!
This is Baltic Banter
With Gokul,
and Brigitta.
and today we're talking about, is going viral a good thing?
We're switching things up. We're switching things.
See, we're sitting together. That's already a switch up right there.
Today is a very special episode because for the first time in Baltic Banter history, we're having a guest. So
Yes, we do. We're joined by one of our close friends and content creator, one of the OG YouTube stars
of Latvia.
of Latvia. So we have our special guest, Emīlija, right here.
Yeah!
So, Emīlija, to our beautiful viewers, can you please introduce yourself?
I would say that I am a controversial YouTuber of 2016 till 2021. I did a lot of very family-friendly content, but also during that time, there was no guidelines of what to do online or not to do, especially in Latvian YouTube. So there were a lot of also mistakes. It was a truly Wild West, and no one is forgiving anyone for all the things that happened in the Wild West. But then in 2021, I shifted from YouTube long content because attention span became very short, and I really enjoyed during COVID creating some TikToks. And then I just lost my passion overall over social media. And now I am working on my own publishing house. So I'm not really a content creator,
Boss babe!
but I am somewhere in the field of communications in a way, like still.
I mean, I don't think you ever stop being a content creator because, okay, fine, you
True.
deal with books now. It's a different form of content, but it's still,
True.
creative.
But your mind never switches off. Imagine, which we can discuss more in this podcast, is the very sick ideology that you wake up and everything you see, and that was in a lot of YouTuber minds in Latvia since 2016 and 2023 or 2022 when it was in the peak. It was like every single thing you did during the day. You went to the shop, it can be a content. You go to thrift and you are with friends, you do the content, you take pictures, and you forget about actually enjoying moments with people because you're always on your phone creating content.
Back in the day, I watched your videos religiously because back in the day there was a huge controversy and people had some misconceptions about wearing makeup, and you were one of the first ones that I've felt connection. I was like, oh my god, this girl, she's doing makeup videos and in Latvian. Back in the day we watched a lot of
Jacqueline Hill, Jeffree Star, James Charles.
I mean, I've seen your content online on short form content because I'm mostly active on Instagram and TikTok, and I've seen it, and I see that you were a big thing back in the day, and you've kind of sort of not really fallen off the planet, but you're still there, but not as
Yes.
actively, because recently you had a Converse campaign, which I absolutely loved.
Thank you.
I was obsessed with those shows.
When I was 9 years ago, even before YouTube, I was a law student, I was going to my law school, and I published my first book because I was always into the slam poetry. I was reading and writing a lot of poetry and essays, and I was very into the writing scene. I still had a lot of friends who are writers, who are philosophers, and that was my niche, not YouTube. It was more of...
So you aspired to be a writer?
Yes.
More than an influencer?
Yes, in the beginning, and my first videos were mainly an essays about self-positivity and life and about mental health, and I was the first one to make a content in Latvian about I want to kill myself, but that's okay. When I went through my YouTube, all the titles are a bit insane. My boyfriend cheated on me with 5 different women. Yes, I was doing those titles. I got STD. of 2 guys, or I disappeared from YouTube for 3 months because of drugs, which when you watch the video you would realize that my ex-boyfriend was a drug addict and that I had to take care of him. So even though the title was very like, you know, out there, it was not the content of the main video.
Would you say like the internet has changed since like you started?
Definitely has changed. I want to say it changed to 2 sides. There's 2 spheres. One sphere, it changed to good side because every single person can make a content right now, and it's not judged upon, in my humble opinion. And a lot of people actually can do various of contents, and even like silly, especially in clothing, like they dress up and maybe they're like a bit more extroverted and eclectic in their style. And there will be people who will say, I love your style, and there will be a lot of old men and unmarried who will write, why do you dress like a slut? Because the hate that you get now is like 20 times smaller to any content creator that I have noticed than it was in 2016-17. Like people would actually go on the street and assault you. People like shout in the trams and buses that you're a slut. People would throw rocks on you. People would like harass you and stalk you to your home.
And these all happen to you.
Yes, I have some story times.
Oh my God. See, but with the internet, I actually do agree. Anybody has a platform now, and no matter what kind of content you do, you always will have an audience. That's where we have
Yes.
reached. And I think that is a beautiful thing.
Yes. And I think that hate is now more of just it doesn't serve any purpose right now, all the hate comments, because they have no backing. Okay, yes, you're fat, like boo-hoo, or yes, your style I don't like boo-hoo, like there's no backing to it.
So when we talk about like racism or xenophobia or stuff,
Still, it is
it's
insane.
there.
It is there. Everything is there. But like compared to 2016, till 2020, it was so like next level. Like people would actually, like in my experience and talking to my friends who lived here, also who were not content creators, also the people that I know who are foreigners, they would like get thrown out of the bars because they like said no to someone trying to assault them.
I went with my friends, and it was actually a university student parliament party I
Slay.
was supposed to go to.
Slay even more.
The International Student Council, and I was repping the council there, and they wouldn't let me in until I had Latvians talk them into letting me in.
Okay, that's a
And then I just left in like 5 minutes. So things, yeah, I agree with you. Like things have definitely been a lot more worse back in the day.
Yeah, I can see that difference, and that it's even cool if you go viral, except when we used to go viral in the old times, it was very like, boo, tomato, tomato, tomato. Now it's like, oh my God, like you work with Nivea? Oh my God, you get PR packages? Everyone wants to know your business. And I'm like, yeah, I had this outfit from like a company. Yes, like sometimes PR packages come to my office because it's easier to get them if they just come. And everyone in the office is like, what did you get? Is there something you don't need? And I'm like, yeah, I don't need like 10 blushes. Honestly, like I'm not gonna use this fuchsia pink. It's okay, take that. Okay, imagine 2016, 2020, I had like Kim Kardashian glam. Like every day, contouring, baking, lip liner, like lashes, the God, slayed hair every single day. I had to be like a doll. And I had to do this very high production. I was the first one in Latvian who taught people how to contour, like Kardashians.
also the thing that I really respect, that you were using the products that were like that you can buy here.
Yes.
Because when you watch like Jeffree Star or whatever Jaclyn Hill video, those were the products from America. I watched you quite religiously. I was obsessed with your content, and also the thing that really stuck with me was that you were doing this over the top makeup, like very glam, and not a lot of people were actually not doing that a lot, especially in my school, and I was judged quite a lot for it. I was like obsessed with this idea that I have this mindset that nobody gets around me, and then have this YouTuber that's doing that, and I'm like, you see, people are doing their makeup. Back in the day, also, you were judged because of you're a woman, and because you're doing a lot of makeup, it was associated like, are you a slut, or are you trying to attract
Yes.
some
Attention.
attention. You're like, no, I loved makeup, and that was such a foreign idea for
Yes.
Latvians. Like, it was like, why would you want to look that way? Like, are you trying to attract men? It was never about it. I just love makeup.
I have had a situation where I'm not gonna name a YouTuber collection, but they're very well known. This one situation will describe why people felt the way they felt about me during that time. That even in influencer world, there was this thingy.
Catfight?
Not a cat fight, but I'll tell the story. So basically, I was just doing my glammed up makeup, and I was doing glammed up pictures where I would like have this, and people would like tell me that I'm photoshopping. Come on, it was 2017. Like, Facetune was not even there. It was just a lot of makeup that like shifts your face, and I was literally doing that on camera so people could see. And also I did this trend where you could take half of the makeup of your face and you had the glam. So I was very open-minded about showing also my real face, because most of the videos of me crying like Trish Paytas on the kitchen floor was me without makeup in the middle of the night, where I'm just talking about 3 in the morning why I broke up with this boyfriend again. Like, I was like Trish Paytas era, honestly. And so basically I was just doing those pictures, and I was always a bit of introverted in my real life. Like, I had my friends in YouTube field, but also I was not really into all these huge things. Like, I hosted a lot of events at my place where I invited only YouTubers because I felt that we need to be friends. But overall, I was not really always with them because I had my separate friends. I knew that there's a lot of people who hate me for no reason that I didn't knew. So in 2021, I think it was 2021 because it was pre-COVID, I went to Tallinn's Pagams, and 2 influencers came to me. 2 girls that are friends, and they're like the most popular influencers at that time. And still
Think of somebody.
still very popular, and they come to me and like they're a bit drunk. It's like 2 in the morning, we're in Tallinn's Pagams, and they're like, we really need to talk to you. I feel like my heart is pounding because there's no reason why I need to talk to them. Like, what did I do? What did they, like, what happened? So I say, okay, fine. I go like behind like this area, and they're like, we talked shit about you for many years. Like, we hated your guts, like, and we would just want to be clean, like come out clean and tell you that we just, you know, you were too confident, you did too much. It was disgusting. Like, we were opposed, like, and I was just there like at 2 in the morning, a bit drunk, and I'm like, huh? First of all, didn't you thought about me that much?
First of all, you were obsessed with me.
And I was like, and they're 2 gorgeous, talented girls until this day. They're like very popular. And I was like, why were you doing that? And they were like, your pictures, how you talk, what did you do? Like, you were too confident. Like, why did you act this way? And you know, honestly, this conversation really quickly ended after that because everyone was drunk. And they really needed to like and I asked them, will you fix the situation? Will you tell people that I'm not like that? And they're like, no.
Then why do you come up to me and tell me?
Just to feel better about themselves. But in the end, I have helped them, and they have invited me to participate in their projects.
That's a great topic that you touched about, like that you were confident, and that's what
They
triggered
thought
them.
I'm confident, but
But
it
I
just,
also thought you were confident.
it was just a picture online. I was sitting at home most of the time, and that's the thing that people thought that I'm so confident. But imagine, okay, let's play a game, a talk show game. Let's name all the plus-size women influencers in Latvia. Let's name them actually who are prominent, who do something, and who are young.
I have no idea.
I
Because-
am new to the influencer space, so I know very few people.
No.
I'm gonna say that.
There's a lot of skinny girls.
That's the situation. I had no idea how to even navigate the space, so I had to fake it till I make it.
I thought you were like so confident, and I love that you really embraced that fact that you were plus size. Also, you embraced the fact that before you did all of your makeup, you were like, yeah, this is me without makeup, by the way. And that was also a big thing for influencers back in the day, to be without makeup. And I always thought you were like this super confident. I wish I was that confident.
No, I was not.
You would say that you had like different persona when you turn on the camera.
I wouldn't say I had a different persona, but I was something that I wished I was online. I love the makeup, I love the dresses, I love to dress up and go out and be this glamorous, and I tried to also, like, I never went outside my home. I mean, I usually went also without makeup just to hang out with my friends, but mostly I still to this day like love my lashes. I love the art of makeup and stuff, even though I do it like way more subdued now. But overall it was a ideology of who you want to be, and I would say it was a half delulu and half not. But everything that happened behind the scenes made me reassured that it is just an imagination that I'm perceiving, because it was a very tragic life behind, and I had to showcase how,
Perfect and pretty and
because
yeah.
I mean, it was a mix of it, and a lot of people know, because I would literally put a video where I would tell, yes, a month ago I tried to kill myself, and I was in the field and I was just crying, and it was a very open discussion with my viewers about my mental health struggles, that I was thinking that the doctor said I'm bipolar, then doctor said I'm just like very clinically depressed, and the only way when I found actually diagnosis and found some peace is when I quit the internet.
Do you think you've gone viral for the wrong reasons?
In 2016 to 2020, there was only like a small group of people who used YouTube. And then after 2021, the group of Latvians using Latvian YouTube grew like substantially bigger. So having 10,000 views then was a huge thing. Having 10,000 views now is a comme si comme ça issue, you know? So it's like a question of what is even viral back then. Second of it is I didn't become one night sensation. I put like hundreds of videos in YouTube, many, like 2 years of work all the time for even to grow to like 5,000 followers in YouTube. And only then I started working with companies.
What was like the first time you realized, okay, this is going good, like this is going big?
We had different reasons why we wanted to be YouTubers, which is something I really struggle to relate to modern day YouTubers and TikTokers, because everything is only about fame. I just was a lonely person who needed to be heard. I was doing content not because to earn money or have fancy things or people to know me on the street. I was doing that because I needed community.
Has it actually helped you, making content and being out there, did it actually give you that sense of community you were looking for?
It's very funny because all the people that knew me from school, I couldn't speak properly. I was stuttering horribly, and I had to like refilm like 10, 20 times videos. And because I was filming so much and so much content, I learned how to speak without any gaps. So I didn't have to cut the gaps because I was annoyed by cutting videos, and I think it doesn't look great when the video is just like you're just moving like a shift shape, like I don't know, it looks weird. And I trained myself to talk properly, to do my makeup properly, and it was a lot of learning, and like it truly helped me as a person of communication wise. But
And also you gain confidence, like learning new things,
true, yes,
accepted in community.
yes,
So
but
you created actually.
yeah, but the community I wanted to create was a very hard niche. It was mental health community. And I was talking about depression and suicide ideations, and a lot of people wrote to me that I am promoting suicide. I wouldn't say that there is something that we could call a going viral. True virality came only around TikTok time, in my opinion, because in Latvia there's not enough audience to even go viral like that.
Let's not talk about content then. Let's talk about you as a person.
Going viral?
Yeah, because you have a lot of stories, you have been talked about, and in that sense, have you gone viral for the wrong reasons?
Yes, I have, because people love taking things out of context. Latvian radio, I look at you now, Pietro Elve.
Name dropped. Next, please tell us the story.
People again take it out of context and think that I'm enjoying the story so much because I'm smiling. I'm not. I used to live with my ex-boyfriend, and I found out that he's cheating on me. He was a medical student, and I would put a drop of diarrhea medicine into his coffee, so his stomach would like rumble sometimes, like once a month. when he had important meetings.
Why didn't you just dump it?
I really wanted to stay in that flat.
Wait, how old were you when this happened?
I was 20, he was 31.
Whoa!
Okay, that's a separate problem.
Maybe I was even 19 because it was the first year of law school.
Oh.
I mean, he's happily married to that woman.
How old are you now, by the way?
I am 29.
29. Okay.
Oh, so it's almost 10 years ago.
Yes, and I already told him this story even before I went to the radio, and he said, that's funny, honestly. Like, we have no bad feelings between us. And he said, like, I'm totally okay with you telling this story because, like, I didn't die, nothing happened.
Yeah.
And he's a medical student, he's a doctor now. He knows that that wouldn't kill him and that it was not my intention. And he felt even more apologetic about what he did to me because I was so young and honestly kind of groomed into that situation.
That's why I said it's a separate problem.
That's a whole separate thing, yeah.
And there were so many things about just having the shittiest boyfriends in the world in the background of all those situations that made me do a lot of questionable things in online world.
You actually needed some support from the closer people.
Yeah.
And that's why she had that space for mental health, and it just,
Yeah.
she wanted that support.
I think the one moment that stuck to me and made me realize that maybe that wasn't worthless was in, I would say 2022, I got this huge email, and I have had emails like this before, but this was like a particular email where a woman described her daughter that tried to kill herself so many times, but then she found my videos and she started watching them. And since then, the last 5 years, she has never done that because she always goes back and calms her down with watching my videos. And she just wrote me, thank you for making sure that my daughter is alive and still with me.
That is,
God,
I'm gonna cry.
I'm gonna actually
That,
cry.
yeah, that's actually so freaking sweet. Like,
Didn't you feel some sort of way?
Of course, I wrote to her back.
even you focus so much on mental health and you want this sort of sense of community, and even though it's 2022 when you're no longer making videos,
Yeah.
somebody still watches it.
I hope they watch it for the good reasons, though. I'm sometimes thinking of hiding them, but then I'm like,
Is there a video that you're like ashamed of? You're like, oh my God.
I should never have done that.
Yeah.
no.
That is confidence. You stand by everything you put out there.
I believe that everything that happens, yes, I can take care of myself and make no mistakes and maybe be safer, but there was no guideline book, and I was in a very, very turbulent last 7 years of my life, like different boyfriends, their assaults, breakups, like domestic violence, cheatings, or friendship like breakups.
Do you think that some people used your fame?
There is one particular story, but
Let's do it. Let's do it.
I will not call this YouTuber out because we are still good friends and he supports my business. There was one video where me and my friend, who was also a YouTuber, we bought an alcohol and we started drinking, but that person didn't. And we got very drunk and the person said, let's do Q&A. And we were drunk and the camera was set up and we were asked very trashy questions, and then it was put in their YouTube video and got very viral. And since nowadays it is taken off because not only me but also the other person has spoken up, and I think also that person has realized. But it was also in that phase where everything was content, like you didn't think through. It was like a sickness. It was truly like a sickness. You couldn't hang out, you couldn't have human interactions.
So you're not blaming that?
No, I'm not blaming because we were all like a bit sick in our minds.
I mean, here's the thing though. If you are not getting drunk, your friends are getting drunk, and you ask them trashy questions and film them, you know things are gonna come out that probably they are not willing to share.
No, but we were okay with that. And only after a few years when you're away from that, you realize that how many weird things has happened. Like to me in that field of entertainment, how many men and women try to take like advantage of me in situations and of my friends, especially like more prominent people in the industry, people who try to hide their affairs with you or some other people, and then you become this like villainized version of something, and then you just go online and you just push this all anger towards like stupid mistakes. You do like the stupid story times, you do stupid content that you probably shouldn't do, but you already feel so horrible about your existence. You're like, who cares? It's like a very destructive cycle.
So what you're saying is everybody needs therapy.
Yes, everybody needs therapy.
I think with content creation and everything is content, with TikTok, I think it's still the same. Like everything is content. Like you go to the store and it's content now. Like everybody does it, but at least it's in shorter formats. So it's
True.
bearable.
I wouldn't say that's bearable because so many like regular people has gone viral. For example, like you were telling about like you were getting drunk and asked these questions. And there are so many accounts on TikTok that are like getting people off the street that are drunk and asking questions. Welcome, half tour girl.
Yeah.
Right? But imagine like
She
you're
had a whole crypto thing.
Yes. No one knows where she is now.
a regular person. She
Yeah.
would never, like, she never really had this idea that she could be an influencer. And then somebody has put her on the internet for everyone. And
To see, and now she's a big thing, and then she
yeah.
does crazy
And
stuff.
I think that's like very dangerous.
Mm.
You film regular people and you film them without their like consent fully because they're drunk.
Yeah.
Or you film, you know, there's a lot of viral moments that have happened like before to irregular people like on trains or something, and they're filmed, or some people in very, you know, nasty situations that they don't have control in. For example, like people on drugs or something doing something haha funny and everyone's laughing.
You know what this reminds me of? You know how in Latvia, in the trams, like this guy is coming up to like a grandma or a girl or something, and he's setting up a table.
All of them are staged.
Yeah.
So that, for the general audience, they don't know it's staged.
True.
They think this is a regular thing and it's good and it's
True.
you know, positive. I mean, as much as it is positive, it is staged. So again,
Yes.
the person is not drunk, they are consenting, everything is okay. But in these sort of situations, it's a whole different scenario.
True.
But also that creator that you talked about just now, I also find that a little problematic that he films in public and it seems like all Latvians are evil people.
Yeah, that we're just ignorant.
Yes, so it portrays like as Latvian society is this evil, and I don't like that.
But at the same time, it's also a human experiment. I'm not.
I mean, if you see like 3 big cameras around, would you really, because they have big cameras, they're not walking with an iPhone in a corner.
They feel like they're filming, I don't know, some TV series or something.
That does bring in the question of how people act around cameras and how they act when the cameras are not there. The same thing with, you know, YouTubers and about how everything is content. They whip out their phone, they put on this persona, and they cannot have a human conversation. It has to be nice lighting, nice makeup, nice looks.
Yes.
It cannot just be us just talking some shit. So the same thing applies when scenarios like this and you have cameras everywhere and you're like, well, they're shooting something, like I don't want to get involved.
So we only see this moment when someone tries to kidnap this person, but there's a people standing in to go across the street. They probably just stand there with the kidnapping person and talking to the kidnapped person. Because if you're an actor, you're not gonna just stand somewhere like you don't know the crew. You're gonna be with the crew in between the shoots. So what are the people there? And then they start screaming and trying to catch the person. Like it just, people don't even understand how even content is created and all the layers that this person, then it means that the kidnappee needs to run away somewhere, hide somewhere, so no one around knows where they are, to be truly a real experiment, and then go out and pretend like they don't know those people, and then trying to be kidnapped, but the cameraman needs to be hiding somewhere. The guy who is kidnapping should like stand there like he's actually preparing to be kidnapper, and then that becomes a serious topic because you see that there's no signs that this is not real.
Yeah, true.
But if you're there standing and like smoking a ciggy with your kidnappee, honestly, and then you're like, no, don't kidnap me, and you're like there at the stop, you're like, what the like literally I saw everything like the last 5 minutes. Like you were even saying to the kidnappee, scream louder. Like why would I run and try to save the person if I see the whole shebang?
Very fair. That is very fair.
I really want to say thank you, Emīlija. We had such a great conversation and things that we talked about. I think they were really important for people to hear.
It's been amazing. And you're our first guest, and this sets the tone for everybody. So our future guests better be as cool as Emīlija. 'Cause this girl, she really brought the energy.
Thank you for inviting. It was nice to say something that I have not spoken of in the last 4 years.
That we appreciate.
Yeah, I needed to rant.
Thank you for watching us. I hope you really liked the episode.
See you guys next time.
Ciao!